Welcome to St. Lucie Public Schools Transportation Department Training and Development Contact Center Performance Reports, or CCP. This training session's objective is to educate all staff members on the importance of team goals and the reporting that reflects on our performance. Each day, Crystal emails the previous day reports to all staff members. Then, Mr. Prince reports the weekly stats to Mr. O'Leary, who in turn shares them with Mr. Gent and the St. Lucie Public Schools board members. The CCP reports measure the following information: the number of presented calls, the number of handled calls, the percentage of answered calls, the number and the percentage of abandoned calls, the ASA, the AHT, and the ABA. All calls that come into transportation ring into one line, 772-204 unless someone dials to the direct party's extension. The CCP report does not reflect direct party calls, only calls that come in through the contact center. Below are the different phone groups. Let's take a look at them. When a customer calls into 204 Ride, the call will go directly into the main group. The main group members are listed below. The call will ring there for a total of 60 seconds. If the call is not answered from someone in the main group within 60 seconds, the call will then overflow to the support group. The support group is listed below. If the call is not answered in the support group within 30 seconds, the call will then overflow to the manager group. You can also see the members of the manager group here as well. If the call is not answered in the manager group within 30 seconds, the call will then go to voicemail. Each voicemail is returned from Max every following morning. Let's talk about some of our goals. The percentage of calls answered in a certain time frame is called a service level. The Transportation Department has set an overall service level goal of 96% within 60. This means that 96% of calls that are presented into the main group will need to be answered within 60 seconds of ringing. Let's take a look at a CCP report that Crystal sends in the email each morning. You can see the main group, the support group, and the manager group. The dates and days are at the top columns. The very last column gives you the totals for the week, Monday through Friday. Under each group, you can see the total calls presented, the total calls handled, percentage of calls handled, and so on. Now, let's see what you've learned. Looking at the report on the left side of the screen, how many calls were presented into the main group on June 15th? The answer is 102. What was the ABA percent for the week for the main group? The answer is 6 seconds. How many calls went to voicemail for the week? The answer is 1. What is the ASA for the main group? The answer is 4 seconds. And how many calls overflowed to the manager group on Friday? The answer is 3. We already know that every call that comes in is recorded, but it is also counted. The Agent Snapshot Report, or ASN, shows how many calls were taken by each employee within the groups for each day. Then they are tallied at the end of the month and included in the reporting to the senior management team. We also keep track of each patch that is made. The patches that are made from dispatch are communicated to Max and Sarah, and they update them in Synovia. The patch report is included in the daily CCP report email, and it gives us a total for the month as well as a daily average. Much like the patch report, the Skylert School Messenger report does the same thing. Anytime a late bus is communicated with Max, a call is sent to advise the parents. Every call that is sent is kept on a log and totaled for the day as well as the month. Below are the Skylert messages that are sent out for route delays in the morning. You will notice there is a route delay of less than 30 minutes and a route delay of more than 30 minutes. Please take a few minutes to read each one of these to have a better understanding of what calls Max sends out when a driver indicates that they are running behind on their route. Below are the Skylert messages sent out for route delays in the PM. As you can see, there are 2. One is for less than 30 minutes and one is for more than 30 minutes. Again, please take a few minutes to read the difference between each. Below are the Skylert messages sent when a bus is involved in a Signal 4. Please note there are 2 different messages. One is sent for the AM and one is sent for the PM. Please take a moment to review the difference between both. Please keep in mind, anytime we send a Signal 4 Skylert call, we have confirmed with the driver that there are no injuries aboard. Not very often, but sometimes we do, have a ramp accident. Below are the Skylert messages that are sent out in those incidents. Again, one is for the AM and one is for the PM. Here are some other Skylert messages that we send. As you know, summer in Florida is often rainy. When this happens, Allapattah Flats uses their rainy day schedule release. When they notify us that they will be using their rainy day schedule release, we'll go ahead and prepare a call to go out to those parents. We also can send "Here comes the bus" Skylert messages. We do this in the beginning of the school year to help educate our families on the importance of using the app. We also can create other custom SkyAlert messages based on business needs. Earlier in this presentation, we talked about bus patch tracking. This report is ran 2 times a day and emailed to all the internal staff members after Max is done entering the bus substitutions in Synovia. This report can be used to resolve any callers' inquiries for bus information. Max will also be emailing this same report to the school's bus ramp personnel for the upcoming school year. This is to help improve our communication of sub-buses with the ramp personnel. The on-time report is also processed 2 times a day, once in the AM and once in the PM. Sarah prepares this email twice a day and sends to all the staff. This is a great tool for both routers and dispatchers to use to identify problematic routes. If the report consistently shows the same bus late, it would be wise to review the route and look for areas to improve on. We also keep track of the garage substitutions and the dispatcher substitutions. The garage substitutions are tracked for both AM and PM foremen in both the north and south compounds, as well as the AM and PM dispatchers in both the north and south compounds. At the end of the month, these reports are communicated with Mr. Prince and Mr. Hardison. In case you missed it, let's recap. CCP stands for Contact Center Performance. CCP reports track the department's performance in order to measure our call volume and answering capabilities. The department monthly service level goal is 96% of calls answered within 60 seconds. There are 3 phone groups: the main one, the support one, and the manager group. The ASN report counts individual phone call totals. The patch report counts the total patches for the AM and the PM. The SkyAlert report counts the total messages sent. And CCP reports are shared with the superintendent and board members at the end of each month. All staff will be held accountable to meet all the expectations set forth by the transportation management team. If you have any questions about this training or any other training, please speak with your immediate manager. Thank you.